Coinbase and BlackRock CEO made very big statements today about crypto that you need to hear, and Charles Schwab CEO confirms they're going to launch crypto trading in the first half of 2026. And there are big updates around Ethereum, Hedera, and Solana that you need to know about. I'll give you the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, today Bitcoin touched $94,000. Currently, it is at $93,451. So we continue to see the upward momentum. Obviously, we need more confirmation to see how high this is going to go. The two scenarios I've been sharing with you all is one, this is a relief rally that will top out somewhere at 100,000, then roll over into lower lows into a bear market, or this is a continuation of the bull market. But there are conflicting things because on the charts you have some bearish signals, but the macro is setting up very bullish. So we're going to have to wait to see how this plays out. Now, something that's interesting, Bitcoin Bollinger Bands repeat a parabolic bull signal from late 2023. So this is one signal that's flashing bullish and could indicate the continuation of the bull market. So the key takeaways here are Bitcoin's Bollinger Bandwidth indicator offers hope of a 2023 style Bitcoin price surge into the year end. Bandwidth avoided a red event despite the recent Bitcoin price drawdown. Traders demand more proof of an enduring market rebound. In an X thread on Wednesday, macro strategist Gert Van Lagen presented a key signal from Bitcoin's Bollinger Bandwidth. Bollinger Bandwidth measures the percentage difference between the upper and lower bands, which themselves act as a leading indicator for Bitcoin price volatility. On the monthly timeframes, that difference has never been smaller per data from sources including Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView. History shows that bandwidth rarely drops below 100 on its scale, but each time it does, the Bitcoin price reacts sharply. Historically, every time this triggers, Bitcoin follows with a direct parabolic leg up, Van Lagen commented. Now, we've seen multiple data points, a lot of different things we can look at, and this is one that is bullish, but doesn't mean that we're headed to all-time high. And this is where, again, patience is the key here, but I hope this plays out, obviously, right? That we go parabolic, we hit new all-time highs, and I don't think that's going to happen this month. I think it happens into January, but let's see, guys. No one knows at this point, but we can at least use the data, not our emotions and not guess, but use the data to get the different probabilities that could play out here. Now, some positive signs is that the S&P 500, the stock market, continues to look good here. It is continuing to recover. Obviously, we need to see more confirmation, more strength. Even the Russell is showing a lot of strength here. So, we're seeing in the macro, once again, including the stock market, global liquidity, the Fed ending quantitative tightening. We got job numbers that came in really bad this morning. So the odds of the rate cut happening this month, we got the FOMC meeting next week, are very high. So let's see, let's see how the month unfolds. And we continue to see big players are buying. So Tom Lee's BitMine, they've bought $150 million in ETH. So two fresh wallets just withdrew $92 million of ETH from Kraken and $58 million from BitGo, matching prior BitMine purchase patterns. So this is interesting. Now, folks, look at this. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong and Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, they were both on stage today for the New York Times Deal Book, and both made some very big statements. First up, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says major banks are piloting crypto with the exchange. This should come as no surprise because they've partnered with PNC Bank, JP Morgan, and others, and we've seen those announcements. So I don't think there's any surprising news here, but it's further confirmation. The big banks are getting ready to offer crypto. They want to use stablecoins. They want to tokenize, and they want to be able to offer their clients crypto. So for years, I've been telling you guys, you will eventually get the phone call from your local bank. We now offer crypto. Do you want to be able to purchase it through us? We'll custody it for you, yada, yada, right? Larry Fink, it's so funny. He was asked by Andrew Ross Sorkin about his statements in the past about Bitcoin being an index of money laundering and used by bad actors and much more. Let me play the clip here for you.
Called crypto an index for money laundering. BlackRock.
And thieves.
And thieves.
Yes.
Money laundering and thieves.
Right.
You now have the biggest Bitcoin ETF. So what happened here?
I have very strong views, but that doesn't mean I'm not wrong. By having strong views, you have to test yourself and ask yourself. And, in my role, I see, thousands of clients a year. I have, governmental leaders, and we have these conversations, and my thought process always evolves. And this is a very glaring public example of a big shift in my opinion.
So there you have it, right? Further confirmation, Larry's bullish on Bitcoin and crypto, and BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager. They actually use Coinbase for their services, the trading and the custody and much more. So we've often seen when Larry goes on TV, it's usually about time for the markets to start ripping, right? I don't make the rules. This is just what we've seen. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but when he's doing the media tour, right? I've mentioned this many times. So I like to watch how these guys operate. And at this point, we're seeing a lot of big news. Yesterday, we got news of Bank of America. They're telling their wealth advisors to start investing in crypto, right? And Vanguard just recently capitulated. And look at this, BlackRock, they put out a report saying the U.S. national debt will accelerate crypto adoption. So you're seeing the narrative change here. Which is very bullish, even if this is just a relief rally, like I've been saying, or it's the start of the move to the new all-time highs. Now, here's some more bullish news. We had heard rumors and statements, earlier this year that Charles Schwab is getting into the crypto game and they would launch something in 2026. Well, their CEO spoke today and said they will definitely launch Bitcoin and Ether spot trading in the first half of 2026 with a gradual rollout. So they're going to start with Bitcoin and ETH, and then they're going to add the other assets, right, folks? So the CEO, Rick Wurster, expressed openness to also mergers and acquisitions and including potential deals in the crypto space. Now, one of the discussion points I've been having with some of the interviews I've been doing is that once the Clarity Act passes, you're going to see a lot of these traditional financial players come in and buy up crypto native firms and startups. So you're going to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions, folks. That's going to boom and skyrocket. So a lot of these folks or these TradFi folks, they don't want to go through the years of building when they could just go buy, right? So that's going to be pretty incredible to see who buys who. And look, there are going to be acquisitions of crypto native firms acquiring TradFi firms. Just look at what Ripple did with Hidden Road, and there's been some others as well. So, and also with the Clarity Act passing, I don't think market makers and whales would let that landmark moment pass without having that buy the rumor, sell the news event. And that's like a setup for a perfect blow off top with retail euphoria and much more. So we shall see, folks. We shall see. Despite the uncertainty here, the macro is just setting up beautifully here for a massive run. But hey, there's no guarantee that it happens. Now, folks, this episode is brought to you by Propy. Propy is leading the charge with putting real estate on chain. You can buy and sell real estate on Propy using cryptos. If you want to sell your house for Bitcoin, you can do that. And they're using blockchain tech to power the whole real estate process. I'm a Propy token holder. I have been since 2018. When I discovered them, I realized they were ahead of the curve in disrupting the real estate industry with blockchain. And they've put titles and deeds on chain. They've facilitated over $5 billion in deals. They've been doing this since 2017. And billionaire investor Tim Draper is an investor in this company. He's very bullish on it. And Propy, they use Coinbase for the crypto escrow service. And folks, they're working with a lot of different states and associations across the United States to get blockchain integrated into the real estate process, tokenizing real estate and much more. So I'm very bullish on this project. Once again, I'm a token holder. So if you'd like to learn more about Propy, go to propy.com. Link will be in the description. Now, folks, I was just talking about crypto M&A, and look at this. Crypto M&A deals hit an all-time high in 2025. blowing past $8.6 billion. So this should come as no surprise as TradFi is coming in. We are getting more clarity in the industry. The Genius Act was passed. The market structure bill is in the Senate. So we're going to see a lot of folks build and expand and buy up companies and try to expand their footprint across the globe. So crypto merger and acquisition activity in 2025 reached $8.6 billion in November, with companies closing a record 133 deals, making an all-time high in both deal count and total value. The total dollar amount of the business deals exceeded the combined total of the previous 4 years, according to Bloomberg, citing PitchBook data. Coinbase led the M&A activity with 6 acquisition deals completed in 2025, including the $2.9 billion purchase of Deribit, one of the largest crypto derivatives marketplaces. And look, folks, if the bull market continues into 2026, we could see this number or a new record set here for deals, total volume and even value. So let's see. 2026 is going to be interesting. I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention, right? Because everybody wants to know, will this continue? Are you going to see IPOs in 2026? The SEC saying they want to open up IPOs. So lots at stake here, folks. All right, moving ahead. Georgia eyes on-chain property rights and tokenization with Hedera partnership. So many of you know I'm an HBAR token holder. HBAR is the native token on the Hedera blockchain, and I'm bullish on this project. I've been a token holder for a while. So Georgia's Ministry of Justice has signed a memorandum of understanding with the public blockchain network Hedera as it considers moving the country's land registry on-chain and tokenizing real estate. See where we're headed, folks? You're seeing countries and jurisdictions around the world launching stablecoins, tokenizing, providing crypto rules and regulations. So according to a Monday announcement from the Ministry of Justice of Georgia, the government signed an MOU with Hedera, a public blockchain with permission node operation, at a meeting between the Minister of Justice of Georgia, Pata Salia, and a representative of Hedera. The two parties discussed the potential integration of blockchain technology into public infrastructure. What have I been beating the drum and saying for a long time? The future governments, economies, and markets will all run on blockchain rails. So the Georgian officials said they are considering transferring data from the National Agency of Public Registry to the blockchain network, hoping this would ensure even greater protection of property rights, transparency, and reliability of processes. Incredible adoption news here for Hedera. Now, Ethereum's Fusaka upgrade goes live. So that was scheduled to go live today, and it is officially live. And, some of the benefits is this is supposed to slash fees, boost data capacity, and paves the way for a faster experience on the Ethereum network, because ETH, of course, not the fastest blockchain out there. I would say it's one of the most secure. It has great security, and that's why a lot of institutions build on it. But we've seen over the years a lot of layer 2s have been built to solve the speed and fee issues. So great to see that this is happening. It's not going to do much to the price right now because of the volatility the market has been experiencing. So this is a reminder: positive news does not equate to the coin pumping. Eventually it will be priced in if it hasn't been priced in already, but I would say it hasn't because the market has been in a downturn for a long time. So let's see what this news and brings as far as adoption. And it's great though that these upgrades are being made. Now, speaking of Ethereum, ETHzilla takes stake in Karos to tokenize AI modeled auto loan portfolios. So crypto treasury company ETHzilla has taken a strategic step into on-chain credit with the acquisition of a 20% fully diluted stake in automotive finance AI startup Karos. The $10 million deal includes $3 million in cash and $7 million in ETHzilla stock, and will allow the company to integrate Karos's underwriting AI models into its blockchain stack to issue tokenized auto loan portfolios. Very interesting. So according to Wednesday's announcement, Karos's decisioning engine is trained on more than 20 million historical auto loan outcomes and has evaluated over $5 billion in loans at origination, giving ETHzilla a pre-modeled data set to structure AI segmented pools with on-chain settlement. The first tokenized portfolios are slated for early 2026. So you're seeing the merging or the convergence of AI and blockchain with tokenization. And, as a treasury company, this is pretty creative what they're trying to do here. So let's see how it works out. But you're clearly seeing the real world application of blockchain here, which is amazing. Now, some very big Solana news. Solana Mobile to launch SKR token in January with 10 billion supply. So this is interesting. They got the mobile phone. I've not used it, by the way, and they're going to launch a token. I don't know if that's good or bad. Why not just use the Sol token? But well, let's see. Solana Mobile has released new details Wednesday about SKR, the forthcoming native token for its Seeker smartphone ecosystem. The company said SKR will launch in January 2026, forming the economic and governance backbone of its decentralized mobile platform. According to an X post from Solana Mobile, SKR will have a fixed total supply of 10 billion tokens. So let's see, guys. And again, look at the timing of the launch, right? As some people are saying, hey, we're entering into a bear market. I don't think people would have be launching this in a bear market. So, this is not a guarantee that the bull market continues. But again, it's just, if we're weighing this on a scale, it's more evidence going towards the bull market continuing, or some sort of alt season. Maybe Bitcoin is top and an alt season is going to follow. We shall see, folks. This is the uncertainty we are facing here in the market. Look at this. Sports apparel giant Fanatics launches prediction market with Crypto.com. So Fanatics is a big name in the sports apparel world, folks. So this is a huge win for Crypto.com. So Fanatics, one of the largest global sports apparel companies, announced Wednesday the launch of a fan-led prediction market platform through a strategic platform with Crypto.com. Like industry leaders Polymarket and Kalshi, Fanatics Markets will let users trade contracts forecasting the outcomes of real-world events. Fanatics Markets will launch in two phases, according to a news release. Phase 1 is live today with event contracts for sports, finance, economics, and politics. Phase 2 will launch earlier next year and see Fanatics Markets expand into event contracts related to crypto, stock/IPOs, climate, pop culture, tech/AI, and movies and music. So very interesting, guys. The race is on for prediction markets, tokenization, ETFs, stablecoins, but competition's healthy. It is very healthy for us as investors as well as consumers. So we'll see how all of these things play out. Look at this. Taiwan eyes 2026 stablecoin launch as crypto legislation advances. Folks, if you've been a subscriber to this podcast, we've covered news from Hong Kong to Thailand to Kazakhstan, all the countries out there, right? We just talked about Georgia and what they're looking to do with Hedera. So we are seeing the global adoption of this technology. I hope you recognize it. It's so important because sometimes we can have tunnel vision of everything that's happening in the United States, but this is a global asset class. This technology is very democratized, so to speak, that anyone, on these public blockchains can start building. So incredible stuff. Again, the future economies, governments, and markets will all run on blockchain rails. So Taiwan could see its first stablecoin launch as early as the second half of 2026 as lawmakers advance new rules for digital assets, according to one of the country's financial regulators. According to a Focus Taiwan report on Wednesday, Financial Supervisory Commission Chair Peng Jinlong said that based on the timeline for passing related legislation, a Taiwan-issued stablecoin could enter the market in the second half of 2026. Should the Virtual Assets Act pass in the country's next legislative session, and accounting for a 6-month buffer period for the law to take effect, it would lay the groundwork for the launch of the Taiwanese stablecoin. Every country, the dominoes are falling, guys, across the globe. Incredible stuff here. Now, final news item here. Finn, which is the name of the company, has landed a $17 million funding for a stablecoin payments app built by ex-Citadel team. So again, more stablecoins being built, capital being raised, and you're seeing TradFi alumni building this stuff here. They're entering crypto. So it's incredible. So, former Citadel engineers Ian Kratinsky and Ashik Dheeraj have raised $17 million to launch Fin, a stablecoin powered payments app designed for high value cross border transactions. According to Fortune on Wednesday, the startup, previously known as TipLink, closed the round with the backing from Pantera Capital, Sequoia, and Samsung Next. Fin plans to pilot the app within the next month, targeting import-export businesses that often move hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time. Smart niche to target here, and you're going to see stablecoin apps and platforms targeting specific industries being built, folks. So built around stablecoin rails, Fin will enable users to send funds to other payment apps, bank accounts, and crypto wallets, aiming to reduce costs compared to traditional wire transfers. Guys, I hope you see the direction the puck is heading here. A lot of building happening, a lot of investments, a lot of big TradFi tech alumni now building in crypto. Very bullish news. All right, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you haven't as yet. A great way to support the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free on Substack. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. So if you want to expand your knowledge, get an idea of what's happening with this technology, the applications, and it features expert commentary. So all those people I've interviewed, I had them answer specific questions about crypto, and those videos are in the course. So you're going to hear from actual institutional people, people who are investing and building in the market, and much more, founders, CEOs, and so on and so forth. So check it out. Go to mycryptocourse.com. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.